Hey Geminis, welcome to Tarot and Heal. Welcome to the place where we Tarot and Heal our way to self-love and unity consciousness. Welcome to your December reading. I hope all is well. Let's get started. I come to you humbly, God, thanking you for your divine guidance, providing messages of divine light, divine love, in accordance with your divine will. What is it that the Gemini Collective need to know? Thank you. For the first half of December. What's the overall energy? Thank you. There we go. All right. So we have forgive and forget and do all things in moderation. All right. Now I'm feeling led to pull from the Rebel deck. I pulled from the Rebel deck for the previous signs. So I'm just going to start here. This is not the most PC deck in the world, by the way. All right. It's a little cheeky. So what's the overall message that you want to send? What's the asshole message to send? Because this deck definitely has an asshole voice. Oh, wow. We have time to let go. You guys have a similar energy to Virgo. All right. Move the fuck on. So it's time to let go of something that's hurt you. If you felt betrayed, I'm hearing betrayed. Whoever's betrayed you. It's time to not forgive and forget. I like to say forgive and then move the fuck on. All right. Instead of like wallowing in who did you wrong or whatever the case is, it's time for you to. It's time to just drop it. Taurus had this energy too. Interesting. All right, cool. Let's get started with the actual reading. What's going on with Geminis? All right. Major death and rebirth coming through. Okay. This is a death card. A major death energy coming through. You're going to have to just let go of the past. You're going to have to just drop everything that you've known or the pain that you've had. Like you can't. You're being told to not allow that to be your story anymore. It's time to change your story. The story that you're telling yourself or that you've been telling yourself, okay, for a long time. It's no longer working. With the death card coming through, it's such a transformation that you're not going to recognize yourself after. People won't recognize you after. All right, so the story that you're telling yourself is becoming, it's outdated. It's time to let go of that. All right, by moving on from whatever the past hurt was, past mistakes, whatever, all of it. It's time to let go. All right. It's going to give you more room and more space. Like energetic space, emotional space, mental space. So in this closing out, it's going to lead to, with the Six of Pentacles and the Hangman, the change in your perspective is going to allow you to be on a frequency where you can accept what's on your level, accept what you deserve, okay? With the Six of Pentacles, it's like the equal reciprocity energy, right? With the Hangman, it's like you have to start telling yourself a new story. If you were telling yourself, oh, things never work out for me, or I don't have good luck, or whatever the case is, something like that is a story that's stopping you from receiving what you deserve. Maybe certain words that you use, like, what do you call yourself a certain thing, or how do you identify, things like that. Ace of Swords, it wasn't true, okay? Something about it that isn't true, like if you believe that you were like a bad person, right? Things like that. It's something it's feeding your insecurities. It's a story that you tell yourself that's feeding your insecurities, as opposed to feeling like, oh nah, I'm the shit, It's something that goes against your confidence, but it's a story you tell yourself. You have the Ace of Wands coming out along with the Eight of Wands. All right. This, because of this story, you might have tossed away opportunities. Who had that energy? Capricorn. All right. Because of this insecurity, these stories that you told yourself, you might have passed up on opportunities. It's like you created, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, pretty much. Like you created or sabotaged certain things because of this story. So now that's going to come to the forefront, okay, what this story is. You might not know what opportunities you tossed away because of it, but it's time to at least release the story, let go of that, and create a new story for yourself. A story that that makes you feel like you're on top of your game. A story that makes you feel more independent, all right, more capable, all right. One little thing. I'm sorry. One that makes you feel more independent and strong. Tell me more about the Ace of Wands in the center. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Some of you guys with the Ace of Wands coming out in the middle of the deck, middle of the reading, that's coming to the forefront because there was like a path. There's an opportunity of passion. Let's say you got a job offer. This is very similar to the Capricorn energy. But let's say you got a job offer, right? And you... So let's say you got new responsibilities, but you have a story where you don't believe that you can handle those responsibilities. Or let's say a love came in and you're like, oh, I can't handle that. You know, it's something like that happened. Okay. With the Queen of Swords, I think somebody was too much in their head. With the Nine of Cups, it was some type of offer that was like a wish fulfillment, it seems, all right? But it's coming out the Seven of Swords, like someone sabotaged it. This could be you or someone else, okay? So this might come to the forefront. Someone might realize, oh, I sabotaged this situation. If you're dealing with someone who's doing this, you might just be realizing, or yeah, somebody's realizing that they're in the energy, the energy of sabotage right now. It's still very active, okay? But it does seem like there's a flow here, all right? Either way, some divine orchestration happening anyway. Why is this Eight of Wands here? I feel like they're getting, if somebody is... I'm getting the idea of like there's like a little birdie whispering in someone's ear, okay? If somebody is sabotaging a situation, they're going to get like, they're going to get that intuitive hit. Excuse me. Either they're going to get the intuitive hit from their guides, or they might have a conversation and someone might say something, you know, someone who has their ear, all right? It's something like that. And it's going to make them realize how much they're sabotaging. All right. Someone may not realize that they're in the energy of sabotage, because with the Queen of Swords, it does feel like this person is clear. So so back to that that Gemini, the full moon in Gemini reading, right? We have like practical reasons why we're not doing certain things, right? Or not going for the things that we want. It seems like someone's very clear. They probably have some practical reasons, not realizing that underneath the practicality is really just like a story of fear, a story of insecurity. You know, it's not, the practical reasons is just a cover up. All right. So I feel like that's going to come to the forefront. Someone's going to realize, oh, the reason why I'm going for this, I've been telling myself this is a reason why I shouldn't go down this path, whatever this offer is. I shouldn't accept this offer. I shouldn't start a family. I shouldn't, you know, whatever disempowering story you're telling yourself, it's going to come to the forefront as disempowering and not as something that makes sense. Okay? You might realize that you have people around you who are enabling that practical story that made sense, okay? Like if you, let's just say if you called yourself dumb all the time, whatever, right? It's just like, oh, I'm such an airhead, you know, and you keep saying stuff like that, and people feed into that story, and now next thing you know, everybody's chanting, "You're an airhead, you're an airhead." So now you start doing airhead shit, and it's like that's not, you know, you're just feeding into an energy that you're not. Okay, you're feeding into a story that you're not. So yeah, but you have people who are helping you support that. That disempowering energy. So that's gonna be a domino effect there. Once you realize, oh, this story isn't true, and then you're around people who were feeding into that disempowering story, you're like, okay, well, fuck you for allowing me to be like that. Like, ultimately, what it's doing is closing out with the Ten of Swords in reverse. It's closing out the cycle of the disempowered story. That story is over. It's time to start a new story. All right. One of strength, one of courage, one of confidence. All right. All right. What's the blockage? Oh, I hate the way that. What's the blockage here? Clarity. This story is just holding you back. That's all, okay? And we have to be mindful of the words that we say, you know, how we talk, the negative self-talk, but also how we talk to other people about what we feel about ourselves. Like, if you're out here saying, like, telling people, like, yeah, I'm such a ditzball, you know, and you're telling people that, it's like, okay, like, how do you expect them to treat you? You're teaching people how to treat you by your words, you know? So be mindful of that. But also you could probably be mindful of that more than you're mindful of the silent negative self-talk. But maybe that could be a good journal prompt, right? What is my story? What is my good story? What is my bad story? So you can really like pull out everything, you know? What are my good traits? What are my bad traits? And just see how much of that really is perceived bad and how much of it is actually something to work on, you know? Because sometimes there's like just unnecessary guilt and shame that makes you feel worse for being being whatever your trait is, who you are, okay? There might be some unnecessary guilt and shame here. I think that's a side message. All right. Oh yeah, no, that's where the story is enabling the guilt and shame and is stopping you from like believing that you're more. All right, what are they feeling to see? All right. I mean, it's like, let's say if you don't make six figures, right? So you might have a story about making six figures or having a degree. Okay, you might have a story about people who have degrees, and if you don't have one, then it's just like, you know, it creates a way, it makes you move in a way that's like disempowering and insecure. So it's time to check and restructure those stories. And the traits that you don't like, then just work on that. Like if having six figures mean that much to you, then go on and get it. And the pursuit of that is going to give you the confidence anyway, okay? But if you feel like that's like a superficial thing, that's on you. I'm not saying it's superficial. Go for it, go for the money. But if you feel like that's not worth your self-worth, it's not worth sacrificing your confidence for, then it's time to knock that standard, that value down a peg, so it doesn't affect you in a way where you're moving in a world where you feel less than other people. What are they feeling to say? Yeah, that little birdie, the high priestess is coming through. All right. I do feel like there's a little birdie coming through with some insight for you. Because now it's time to end the story. Now you have a lot of experience in that storyline and a lot of evidence as to why that story doesn't work. All right. How was disempowering you with the Magician card? You had to go through this cycle of bumping your head against the wall, telling yourself the shitty story, being insecure, and going through the ups and downs, and the result of that story, so that when spirit comes through, when the universe comes through with this intuitive hit, like, okay, you have to change your story. Now you have you have evidence as to why you need to change your story, all right? So you might, oh man. So like I said, there's like an opportunity that opens up, right? You might have an, oh my God, wait, I'm getting a download, hold on. All right. Some of you guys may have an opportunity that came through, right? Whether it's a career, whether it's love, whatever, it doesn't matter. And you might realize from this, because you're in the typical way of being, of whatever the way you sabotage this type of situation. Like, it's like, okay, oops, I did it again, right? But this time, you're going to realize, like, you're going to realize that you have done that many times before. If you sabotage love, let's say love, if a love offer comes through, you sabotage a love offer, right? You might realize, oh, I've done this a lot. Or this situation might have reminded you of a time where this kind of happened, you know, where this, you know, the dynamic happened or whatever. And you responded in the same way. And it's going to clarify, like, oh, this is a thing that I do. I thought I was just moving. I thought, you know, I was just blaming that person for being who they are or whatever. And I thought I was making the right decision, you know. Yeah, it's something like that, where you might have been projecting on others, and now you're realizing it is actually a cycle and a story that you were telling yourself to sabotage certain situations. That's an intuitive hit. Where you're gonna see the pattern. Fuck. Jeez. I could have been said that. You're gonna see the pattern. No, look at that. All these sixes coming out. Awesome. Come on now. All right. So you have the Six of Wands coming out, along with the Six of Swords. Major balance. All right, so here's the other side of that. Because you have the King of Wands coming out now with the Empress. Okay. King of Wands in reverse with the Empress. All right, so listen. So some of you guys are going to get on... Oh, shit. You're going to get more confident, right? But it might go... like on the opposite end of the spectrum. So you might realize, okay, this story was wrong. If you, like, I do deserve love, or I am this shit, whatever the case is, and you might go into the opposite end of the spectrum. So just the moderation. Like you might move with a chip on your shoulder because of all the times that you didn't have the opportunity or whatever. It's like that energy of like back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me, you know? And now it's like, oh, now you want me? Don't just try to moderate that. All right. I think it is gonna go into Shadowville for a second. So just be mindful of it and check it. All right. That's all. But with the 6 it is about balance. It's like, I know what I deserve. I know my worth. This is so similar to the Capricorn reading. Check out the Capricorn reading too. The Capricorn reading was it was actually pretty funny. But yeah, this is like the same message. Getting on top of your game and moving on from the things that don't make you feel like you're on top of your game. Going after the things that match with your self-worth. This can go, just be mindful of getting too cocky. All right. Why is this King of Wands here? Oh, with the Queen of Wands. Oh. All right. So you have the King and the Queen of Wands coming out in reverse. This can be the energy of having a chip on your shoulder. This can be the energy to some type of match coming through. We do have the Empress. Oh, this is like putting away the old ways. Okay, that old story. Because the old story it was laced with some type of bitterness and resentment, of the past. Okay. You had a story in the past, something that happened, and you're like, you created a whole, whatever, one event, or maybe it's multiple events, but it was something that happened in the past, and you created a story about your reality based on it. And now that story is becoming outdated. For example, let's say if you were cheated on a couple of times, then you'll be like, yeah, you might come up with a story like, I don't know how to keep anybody, things like that. And you were out in this world with that storyline, like, I don't know how to keep a man, I don't know how to keep a woman, whatever the case is. It's time to get rid of that story. If that story was based in some type of resentment and hurt and pain, it was unresolved pain, and that's how you use the pain as a coping mechanism, okay? Instead of like dealing with the pain of it, you just created a story to say like, well, this is the truth of the world. Okay. But it's time to put that away. Go into Empress, Emperor mode. Let's see why the Empress is here. Okay. Yeah, it's putting away the old way. Okay. See, all right, with the cocky thing, I feel like some people might, because now I feel like there's an energy of cockiness, but I feel like that's how it'll be perceived. But I don't think it's going to be the energy that you're carrying. It's just going to come off that way because you're more confident than you were before. Especially because you have people around you who are used to you being, let's say, playing small, being insecure. They're used to you being insecure. So once you become the confident version of you, people might look at it like, oh, you cocky? Oh, you feeling yourself? Don't worry about that. That's not your fucking problem. You sitting pretty up here, all right? And keep sitting pretty. The end of that pain, that cycle of pain is done. Everything that you attracted from that pain state, okay? You got to get rid of that. Like, just deal with the pain. Deal with it. Just deal with it so you could drop it, all right? But yeah, there's a need. But there's a need. You might move in a way that's like, it might be a complete 360. So people might be like, it's going to shock. It's going to throw some people off. It's going to throw rub people the wrong way, whatever. It's not your problem. Not your problem. Obviously, be graceful with it and all that shit. All right. I don't know. I want to pull from the Romance Angels. This is just someone glowing up. Yeah, Capricorn. Check out the Capricorn reading. All right. calling in your soulmate, okay? So that's what happens as a result of you being on this new frequency. Whoa, this could be the one. Holy shit. All right. So with the Capricorn reading, it was talking about how Capricorns are about to get into like who they actually are, right? And show it, like who they are at their core, without the mask, without the pain of the past, without all of that, you know? And it puts them on a frequency of meeting very authentic people. Seems like it's the same thing happening here. All right, so that's awesome. Let me pull from the Animal Spirit deck, and then we're all set. Oh, Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. Yeah, you're gonna be you're gonna be on your shit. All right. Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. The people who rock with that energy, you're gonna attract them in. And the people who make you feel guilty for being this powerful, boss ass energy, they're gonna go. And that's it. And don't oh, that's another thing. Because I feel like people are going to start falling out because of this. People are going to start like kind of dropping out like naturally. Like it'll just, I feel like it's just going to happen where it's just like, oh, we're just not talking like that anymore. Or when you're on a phone with them, or you're texting, or whatever the case is, or you're hanging out, it's like, oh, this is weird now, you know? It's like, oh, we are not the same anymore, you know? You don't have the same rapport with these people. I feel like it's going to happen naturally, and it'll be like a natural fade out. Don't try to hold on to it. Cooperate. It is a divine thing that's happening, all right? As you're powering up, room is going to get made for new people to come in, all right? All right, dope. Oh, look at that. And time to let go. Coming out again. All right, if you need to hear it twice. Got that double message. Time to let go. Awesome. All right, thank you so much, Geminis. Let me know what you think. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, add me on IG, that's Taryn Hill. If you want a personal reading, check out the info box below. If you want to be a patron, check out the Patreon link below. Thank you so much, and until we meet again, peace.